action.
Okay, so we're now going to do the very first exercise here by pivoting. So, again we're moving the big dart here, this is the big dart here, and we're moving it into the side seam. Now, please just remember the steps that I'm doing here. Again, I tend to line up the front of my pattern with the spots and crosses. Okay, so this is the secret on this. You have to indicate on your block where you're moving your dart to. You make the mark on your block. So, for example, I'm going to move that big dart into the side seam. So I already have a wee mark there on my block. Little tiny mark. I'll maybe make it a bit bigger and hopefully I can wipe it off. Okay, so again, lay my pattern down like that. And what I do now here on this one, this is the dart that I'm closing. So I'm marking from the side of the dart here. Okay, because this is the bit we're closing over. Along the shoulder to the neck point, down the neckline, down the centre front, and down the bottom here, up to the mark that I have made on my block. I don't do anything at this stage apart from mark around. I'm just going to pop that off just temporarily. You see? That's all I'm marking on the paper. So pop that back on again. Now, this is whenever I take my awl. This thing. I'm going to do this second bit in a different colour so that you can see how it works. So I'm taking my awl, I'm putting it in the bust point here, and I'm taking my pattern and I'm going to swing the dart closed. So I'm swinging it closed like that. Okay?
This is the top dart.
Yeah. So I'm going to redo that again. So I'm closing it over like that. I'll leave my pattern in that position. And then I mark around from the dart, down the armhole, don't forget this little notch there, down only to that mark on my block. And there's my new dart in its new position. So I can just simply draw it in. So what have I got left to do, guys, here on this? Move the darts back, haven't I, from the bust point? Yeah? Same, still exactly the same procedure. So you find the midpoint on the dart. Move it down by 4 centimetres in this case, and mark in my new dart. Okay, again, find the midpoint here. Mark in move it back by the 4 centimetres. And you still have to do your dart inlay, so you can literally physically cut it, or if you just want to draw it, you can use your tracing wheel, and I've got the little dots there, and you can see exactly where the dart inlay is from the wee dots. Okay, Okay, what we're doing now, I'm going to continue doing the next 4 exercises with pivoting. Okay, and I want you to have a go at this in full scale and also in quarter scale. Once you've mastered this, you'll feel good, actually. So the next one we're doing is the one where the dart is in the centre front. So again, it would be best if you were to have a centre front seam on this garment if you were ever making a garment with a style feature in it. So I am going to put the dart here, as you can see. I'm going to put my mark bang on there. Can you see I've got a little black mark on my pattern? So what I'm doing here, now just watch the sequence that I'm doing. Okay. So step number 1, mark on your block, not on the paper, on the block exactly where you want the dart to go to. It goes on the block, the new dart. So we're popping that big dart in there. So I've marked my little spot on the block, and I am drawing around here from the mark on the block on the paper. I'm drawing across the bottom. This time up the side seam, along the armhole. Don't forget to pop in that notch because you're going to be needing that notch later on. Okay, down to the side of the dart leg that I'm moving. Okay, so if I take that off, let me show you what I've done. That's what I've marked around. Pop it back on again, and again you get your awl. And I'm going to use my orange pen this time to show you what I'm doing. Pivot from there, and what I'm doing is, this time I'm turning my block that way. Oh, flute. Right, that'll have to be cut out. Turning my block that way, closing over the big dart, and I'm marking around the remainder of the shoulder, down the front neckline, down to the mark in my block. Take it off, and there is my new dart. I'm going to very quickly just mark those in. And guys, you know from what we said previously, you need to move the darts back from the bust point, because if you didn't do that, you didn't move the darts back from the bust point, you'd have the darts all coming together at the bust point, and you'd have a very pointy silhouette. Okay, so that is that one. Okay, right, any questions? Right, let me crack on here with the next one. Thank you, Sarah. No, that's number 2, wasn't it? Number 3. What was number 3 like? Oh, I've got it. Oh, you got it. Great, Sarah. Thank you. So this time, this is a style actually you use quite a bit, where you're taking the big dart and you're combining it with the waist dart basically. So this time it's again slightly different. Again, it's a completely different layout or steps. So we know this time we're taking the big dart and popping it in there. So what we do this time, now watch what I'm doing. I'm marking around here from the side of the dart that I'm closing, down the centre front, down to the side of the bottom dart. Again, I pivot. Again, I'll use my different colour of pen. Where's my orange pen gone to? Close over the dart at the top, And this time I'm marking down here, down the armhole, down the side seam, down to the side of the dart here. So I'm marking down to there. Take it all away. You can mark the dart end. And there I've got my big dart. Now you'll find that once you get the hang of pivoting, it's much easier than slashing and spreading. Slashing and spreading is a really easy way of teaching you it to begin with, but as you get more confident with your pattern cutting, you know, you'll just use pivoting, basically. Okay, and we go on to number 4, which is the one which I like, which is the arrowhead. Okay. So again, I'll get my.
Do you do a 1 centimetre seam on that?
You do 1 centimetre seam in that as well, yeah. So this time I want to put I've got my arrowhead one here. I want to put the dart up here. Got my little orange mark on it here, which is tighten it in black. So lay it on, again on the spots and crosses. So this time I'm closing that dart that way and opening it in here. So I'm coming down the centre front here. Look, I'm all skew whiff of my dots and crosses. Oh, I don't like that. Round, up to the side of the dart. Okay. Take that off and see what I've marked. Pop it back on again. Use my orange pen. I'm going to pivot here with my awl, or my finger in this case, what you use. I'm just going to swivel it over and mark around the remainder of the pattern down to the part in the block. And that, again, as you know, you'd move those darts back from the bust point. Okay? Any questions so far, guys? Right, the next one is the one where we move both darts. It's a wee bit more complex, but it's all good. Again, remember I called this the French dart cut. So let's pop it on there. Now, on this one. Right, I'm going to do it in 2 bits. Okay, so I think I'm going to use 3 pens. Look, yeah, I'm going to use 3, I think. Right, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to close that dart and I'm going to pop it into that corner. I'm going to close that dart and pop it into that corner. So what I'm doing here is this. Again, I'm marking around from the side of the dart that I'm closing, down, so there's my first bit I do, alright? So watch me hear what I do, because this is another stage we add on to this one. Do the first bit in orange. Again, I'll take my awl, or my finger, what you use. I'm going to close the dart over here. Close over. Okay. So I'm marking down down to there. That's to the corner where I'm putting the dart, which is there. Alright. Bring it back to its original spot. So you can see what I've marked this time. Now I'm going to go take my green pen and again I'm using my awl and pivoting, closing this dart over. So I'm swivelling this way, but just repeat that. Got my awl here, swivelling, closing the dart over and marking to the corner basically. And there you are. I've got my enormous big dart in the corner at the bottom at the waist seam area.